Looks like Meghan is going to have to get used to life without her prince. Homesick Harry is reported to be planning a lengthy olive branch trip to Britain in a bid to patch things up with the royal family. Good luck with that. But while the ginger whinger gets short shrift from his furious estranged brother William, his American wife will be conspicuous by her absence. The Duchess, we're told, will be too busy working on her lifestyle site, which she launched in March but has yet to open for business. Arguably, more to the point, she apparently dreads the grim prospect of being heckled by booing Brits who loved her once but now regard the self-styled Queen of California with a suspicion bordering on contempt. But is there more to this prolonged separation than meets the eye? Could it be that the gruesome twosome's fairy tale marriage is on the skids? The speculation is, to say the least, fevered. We keep being regally informed just how up to her neck Meghan is with American Riviera Orchard, the online sales room that has so far failed to flog a single item. And her Netflix cooking series is evidently in the can, ready to roll. So while she undoubtedly has a bit on her unsold plate, Harry evidently has so little to do, he's spending the summer attempting to mend bridges in the UK. Meanwhile, as we know only too well, it's never the preposterous prince's fault. It's always someone else. And so it was that, incredibly, in a documentary on the UK's ITV network, he insisted that the main reason for his rift with the royals was his ongoing legal battle with Britain's popular press. Nothing to do with implying his relatives are a bunch of racists, then. Nothing to do with the relentless volley of hurtful revelations in his spiteful little book Spare, then. Nothing to do with branding the king a skinflint for cutting him off from the bank of daddy. Nothing to do with dissing Kate and upsetting William so much he will almost certainly never speak to him again. Congratulations to Harry for this epic feat of self-exoneration, deflection on a breathtaking scale. Unless this privileged little man in his Montecito mansion in the sun can see that in some way his appalling behaviour since quitting royal frontline duties might just be the cause of this bitter transatlantic feud, there is no chance whatsoever of repairing the damage. In other news, the announcement that the 2027 Invictus Games will be held in the UK's second city of Birmingham was swiftly followed by the revelation that Meghan is unlikely to attend. Doubtless, this, of course, will be for security reasons. In that me ITV interview, Harry revealed that he won't bring Mrs. Sussex to Britain because he's afraid someone will attack her with acid or a knife. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with being a protective husband, but isn't Harry's safety fixation close to deranged? Inevitably, he carries on beating his obsessive drum, demanding the armed police protection to which he and his family are no longer entitled. Nor should they be. Why should British taxpayers foot the bill for providing gun guards to occasional visitors from California? No thanks. But hey, the Birmingham Invictus Spectacular is not for another 3 years. So here's the big right royal question. Will Harry and Meghan even be together then? You decide. In the words of the song, there may be trouble ahead. I think there might be, don't you, Maddie?
Oh, God, what a mouthful that was. You have a million points. I mean, I have to say, I think they'll stay together. Kev, I think they'll stand the test of time, whether it's for...
They won't, Maddie.
But
that's wrong.
Or
Everybody, that's wrong.
That was rude. Or they could, but they might not want to.
Well, yeah, exactly. Most people, when they separate, it's because they don't want to be together anymore.
I mean, they'll
I don't want to be with you anymore, but I'm going to stay with you forever. I mean, that's not how it goes. I
think that they'll stay together, but they might not want to be together.
Yeah, one of those kind of sort of...
It's too embarrassing. It's too embarrassing to get divorced.
Showpiece marriages, that they might find it too embarrassing. But I don't think it'll shake down like that. I suspect that within a few years, as his cachet descends, plummets. His royal status is plummeting. His popularity is non-existent anymore. Doesn't really have much going for him at all. What the hell is he doing with his fucking life? Nothing, as far as I can see. As that process continues, she'll get sick of him and think, I can't get anything out of this guy anymore. I'm off. What do you think, Simon?
Well, I mean, having the sort of in the monologue you say, will they still be together? You decide. Nobody else gets to decide. It's a decision.
You get.
It's a decision for them. Look, I think.
But I mean, in terms of speculation, I'm deciding they're.
You know something? I hope they stay together. I hope. I wouldn't wish anybody's marriage to end. And I also think that there's probably a good chance that they will stay together. They seem to have ridden out.
It's not exactly emphatic. That's not a ringing endorsement.
They seem to have ridden out some massive peaks and troughs. Everything that went on before that he's sort of talked about in Spare, and the fact that they come up against such an amount of. It's a wall of viciousness and hatred. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
Kevin O'Sullivan is their trough.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
I'm not surprised he doesn't want to bring his wife to the UK. He thinks that with all the speculation and all the stuff and all the noise around them, I think he does have paranoia.
Yeah, he's got that all right.
I think there's probably a little bit of reason for that.
Man up!
But
Come to Britain. Bring your family. Don't be such a.
But what world
Seriously.
are we living in when Britain is supposedly more dangerous than the US?
Or what about Nigeria that he went to recently, one of the most dangerous countries in the world? It's just a thing about Britain. This is about his status, because the rest of the royal family, who, still do that thing, work, do frontline royal duties, they get armed police protection everywhere they go, and he cannot take it that he does not warrant that protection anymore. He wants to be the same on the same level as his brother William, particularly, and he's never going to.
Do they not get any protection when they come to the UK?
No. Basically, although if he rings ahead and he say, for example, he's going to go and see his dad or something like that, he may get armed protection because he's going to be with someone who deserves it. But he has forfeited his right to that. He's still wasting millions of pounds suing the Home Office.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about...
He'll never get that.
We've talked about that, and we think, I've agreed with you that I think that sort of...
It's a lost cause.
It's a lost cause, and that he should give it up. However, I do think that he's a man who remembers or blames the paparazzi for the death of his mother and for people chasing his mother.
Even though it wasn't their fault.
And he feels
it wasn't their fault.
Contentious point, one that he would probably argue against you.
Yeah, that was the fault of a French chauffeur who was pissed out of his head.
However, I don't think that we can sort of necessarily say that.
So when he blames the paparazzi, that's a false flag. It's absolute crap. Absolute crap.
We'll agree to disagree.
He can revolve his life around the lies that suit him if he wants, but the rest of us, we don't believe in this claptrap that you two come out with, Harry and Meghan. Our truth, your truth. There's only one thing, the truth, and the truth is that the paparazzi did not cause the death of your mother. Let's move on to this other aspect, this remarkable recent interview on ITV in the tabloids on trial. He goes on to that and gives this interview in which he blames this bitter split between him and the British royal family, his family, on the fact that he alone is courageous enough to sue the British popular press, to wage this war against the British popular press. He implies the rest of them are too worried about getting bad press to have a go at the newspapers. He's brave. He styles himself as the dragon slayer, doesn't he? And you ain't going to slay any dragons, mate. The popular press is more powerful than you. You're just some bloke in California, so you can forget about that anyway. But he goes on there and he says that is the reason for this split. Nothing to do, as I said in my monologue, with the fact that he's pissed all over the royal family from a great height for 4 years since they did their moonlight flit to Canada and then California. I mean, that's why they won't talk. They don't trust him because they think he'll sing from the rooftops as soon as they tell him anything. And he's insulted them. He's called them racists. Yeah. I mean, that's why they won't talk to him. That's why there's a feud.
He's also using the press just as much as he's pushing them away or, filing a
It's so
lawsuit.
right, yeah.
You're still using the press. I mean, they both are. All the royal family still using the press.
Well, that's all right. They haven't got a war with the press. He has.
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They've always used the press.
But it's also been with these people who say, oh, well, they always ask about privacy. He wants privacy on his own terms, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't see that there's a problem with that. Also, you know, if you're right, Kevin, in the sense that it's from his truth or the way that he sees it. He sees himself as the Dragon Slayer and standing up for truth and justice and taking on the tabloids.
What a wanker.
If you're the other side of that, you will see it.
Wanker.
If you're on the other side, you will see it differently. But he is entitled to his own truth and his own opinion on his own version of events, I think.
By the way, everybody in America, you know what a wanker is, right?
Yeah.
A bit of a British expression.
Jerk.
Jerk. What a jerk. He really is. I mean, that is outrageous to say that's the reason that the royal family don't like him and won't talk to him. We know why that is. I mean, look at what he said about what Meghan and Harry have said about Kate. No wonder William will never talk to his brother again. Look at what he said about his dad. Skinflint, cut me off. Oh, well, why don't you just hang around with the 39 million quid your mum left you? You know, I mean, the banker daddy.
Yeah.
You're 39 years old. Grow up. You're not a kid anymore. And by the way, frankly, you know, get over it. Get over it. It's horrible to lose your mother when you're a kid. A lot of people have to suffer that awful fate. You do have to deal with it. And frankly, you know, 30, 40 years later, still going on about it, it's just a bit pathetic.
No, it's not. You can't say that.
I just did!
Okay, you can say that, but it shows a breathtaking lack of empathy. I mean, and that's you know, people
you just nailed me.
People who lose parents,
People
who lose parents, they may. I don't think they get over it. They may come to terms with it.
Well, he hasn't come to terms with it, and he just cites it all the time. You know, the other week,
and that is his right.
At the Pat Tillman Awards, looking at Mary Tillman, who said she didn't want him to have that award. Oh, you know, you've lost your son, I've lost my mother.
I think it's unbecoming. I think it's unbecoming of us to attack him for that.
I agree.
There's a lot of unbecoming things this week.
Yes,
unbecoming of us to discuss their marriage. Unbecoming of them. Right, it's time for a bad ad.
You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Hard Water Zest was made for hard water. Soap leaves a film behind, but Zest rinses clean. No film on your skin.
No ring in your tub.
You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean.
Well, Chicago, I can tell you one thing, that you are mischaracterising the problem with hard water. I used to live in Kent when I was a kid, but it has the hardest water in Britain. And the good thing about hard water is it gets the soap straight off you. Soft water is the water that makes it very difficult to de-soap. So that advert for the dear people of Chicago is misleading.
And tune in next week, people, for more tips about the water around the UK.
You see?
The water that's ruining my hair. So
I know about
disagreeing.
everything. I'm so knowledgeable. It's frightening. All right, I think we're moving on to, once again, thank you very much for all your messages. I say this every week because I mean it. You send us thousands of messages. So that's engagement. We engage with you. We love to hear from you, particularly if you're praising me. Let's find out if you are this week. You first, Maddie.
Oh God, I haven't even read these, so we'll be doing it all together. Yeah. And starting off, we've got from Lizzie. Can Simon be voted off this show? It appears to be beyond his maturity and intellectual level.
Yeah. Yes.
Simon.
Right. Okay. Let's have a.
That's a staff member.
Let's have a vote. Let's have a vote. Hands up. Who wants Simon off the show?
Okay.
That's it. 2-1. You're off. What have you got?
Yeah, I've got. Might need a compilation of Kevin's. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! That's his interviewing endgame every time, and that's from.
Shut up!
Tostamix Befana, and yeah, you're right.
Shut up. Yeah, but last week it was a lot of shut up, wasn't it? You can be annoying, though. You know what I mean. What do you got, Maddie?
Simon, I didn't realise how many haters you had.
Yeah. That's the whole. This is the premise of the show.
I know, but I thought that was a one-time thing. I didn't.
The idea is everybody loves me and hates him. It doesn't quite work out that way all the time, but we do our best.
Carol, also a hater, she says, sorry, can't watch any more Simon on. He is a disgrace. Please take him off. Will not watch until he's gone.
And that's your mother, right?
That's your wife.
Yeah, I know. There's a few people here. Oh, God, he's got a difference of opinion and we can't handle it. We can't watch. Snowflakes, that's what I call them.
Oh, yeah.
Headline.
Science Wins says, Kevin, please stop interrupting your guests.
Right, so hang on a second. Go on.
Never mind of what you think. Otherwise, just don't invite anybody.
Actually, who's that again?
And that's from Science Wins.
Science Wins. That's not a bad idea. Next week, it'll, it's my show.
Kevin here shouting at empty
Why do I
chairs.
pollute this show with guests when it should be all about me? Good idea. Next week, What Just Happened, starring me, with me, no guests.
Yeah, just
but
rants.
for the time being, I have to put up with these two. So what have you got, Maddie?
This one was actually quite funny and actually on
We'll be the judge
brand.
of that.
First time viewer, I'm hungover as hell. Nodding off, and this popped up on YouTube. I could hear Kevin shouting. I thought, what's going on? So I watched. Really enjoyed the lively debate. Nice to hear someone who swears like me for a change.
Excellent, excellent. That's the point about What Just Happened. It's a f***ing hangover cure. Time now for a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Taking a brief break from lecturing us about climate change, King Charles and Prince William are buying 2 gas-guzzling helicopters to ferry the royal family around in the most environmentally unfriendly way imaginable. Personally, I don't care if these puffed-up privileged people clock up planet-destroying air miles like there's no tomorrow, which, at this rate, if you believe all the eco-scaremongering, there probably won't be. But what I object to is the rich, famous and smug pretending that they devote their cosseted lives to preserving our wonderful world, when in fact they're about as green as a convoy of diesel juggernauts carrying a cargo of coal to a fossil-fueled power station. Take Hollywood superstar Leonardo DiCaprio, who zoomed 8,000 miles in a private jet to accept an award in New York for his tireless efforts to raise awareness on climate change. After polluting his way back to Cannes, Leo told film festival fans, "Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire culture." Off the scale, rank hypocrisy. Semi-President Joe Biden's climate change envoy, John Kerry's non-job, is to wag his finger at a dirty world that doesn't seem to carbon care. But when he landed in Martha's Vineyard for Barack Obama's 60th birthday party, it was his 16th private jet journey of that year. And it was only August when he popped across London for a cup of tea with the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He made the short trip in an exhaust-spewing 7-car motorcade. Remember our friends Harry and Meghan preaching from the pulpit of Vogue magazine, announcing their intention to shrink their carbon footprint and, of course, urging the rest of us to do the same. Not long afterwards, the preposterous prince carefully arrived at Santa Barbara Airport in an electric car before boarding a $9 million private jet to fly to Aspen for one game of polo. When he realised he'd forgotten his kit, the caring, sharing Duke of Dirty Air sat waiting in his plane while filth gushed out of its idling engines. Half an hour later, his staff pitched up with his sports bag in a petrol-powered Range Rover. Translation, do as I say, not as I do. And who can forget Oscar-winning actress Dame Emma Thompson flying first class from Los Angeles and then proceeding directly to central London to conspicuously participate in a spirited Extinction Rebellion eco-demonstration, showcasing her confected fury from the deck of a pink boat incongruously parked in Piccadilly Circus. When asked if she ever flew economy in order to leave a smaller carbon trail, the multi-millionaire thespian stormed, "I bloody don't know!" Supergroup Coldplay tried to offset their global tours by investing in carbon tree planting schemes, which make money out of celebrity guilt trippers but deliver dubious benefits, if any at all. Now the band proudly boast they've reduced their eco-footprint by 59%. So, still polluting the planet on an industrial scale, but virtue signalling their saintly rock star heads off. Environmentalism is fast turning into the new elitism, a sinister system by which the wealthy superior few invent excuses for their year-round eco-vandalism while looking down on the masses because once a year they climb aboard holiday jets for their vacations in the sun. Their snooty snobbery palpable, these Olympic-class sanctimonious hypocrites demand that we lower-order plebs change our lifestyles to save the planet. But if they won't, why should we? Don't put up with it. Just say no. Tell them where to get off. Right? Simon?
I don't think a lot of them do. I think it's sort of.
I just listed it.
I think it's
I went to
projecting.
all the trouble.
You went to all the trouble to point out that a lot of these people
are hypocrites.
A lot of these people.
Charlie and William.
I'm trying to answer you.
Helicopter hypocrites.
A lot of these people try and say, let's be more environmental friendly, but they don't turn around and say, don't fly. Don't take a holiday.
Well, they do, actually.
They don't.
They do.
I don't think they do.
They do. They tell us we all have to change our lifestyles. We've all got to be greener in order to save the planet. Now, next time William or Charlie make one of their bloody lectures about green
But if you
shit,
look at...
they can right off.
If you look at King Charles's Duchy of Cornwall and the way that it did organic farming and everything else, he has been massively green in that area.
Yeah,
so
stop flying around in helicopters then. Stop flying around in jets. Nobody flies more air miles than that guy.
You will only be happy when people are kind of walking to all their swimming. It's not possible.
No, you mischaracterise my attitude. I don't give a flying if they go around all the time in jets, in their helicopters. I don't care. Because I don't believe in all this eco-claptrap. I don't believe
Which is true, by the way.
I don't believe there's a climate emergency.
But there is a climate emergency.
Rubbish. So you can do what you like, but don't preach to me that I have to do something if you won't do anything. I'm sick to death of it, aren't you, Maddie?
Well, Look.
No, the answer to that is yes, you are.
Yes, no, I'm done.
Thank you. You, Simon?
No, I am actually sick of this This private jet thing has been going on for years. It's ridiculous. The John Kerry thing, I covered that years ago. That's just insane. The one thing about the royal family is they're spending so many $1 million buying these new helicopters. Where could that taxpayer fund money go to? Spend it on something else. I don't really care what the royal family or anyone does on their working trips that requires them to be in the safety of a smaller helicopter.
Even if they're going to spend their spare time lecturing us about climate.
That annoys me.
That's the point.
That annoys me. But when you're doing on your personal trips to go to Barack Obama's birthday, or when you're Leonardo flying into New York for one day, it's just like, come on.
Yeah, you've got to admit, Simon. I mean, that is epic, isn't it?
Yes.
Leonardo, he flew from the Cannes Film Festival to New York to accept. I think it was from Robert De Niro, this award, this eco award. Then the very next day, got back on the same private jet and flew back to Cannes. It's unbelievable.
And I will admit,
piss right off.
I will admit that is ridiculous and it is hypocritical. And if you're trying to save the planet, then that's not the way to go about it. However, I don't recall a lot of these people telling us that we can't fly and we can't do this.
Well,
I think that what we're doing is we're extrapolating what they do and saying... Wait there. We're extrapolating what they do and say, this is them saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. Coldplay tried to reduce the carbon footprint of their world tour by changing the oil that they were using in generators to some sort of palm oil. And it later found out that the oil that they'd chosen was the wrong sort of oil and it didn't reduce their footprint as much as they thought it would be. Yeah, but we can laugh, but isn't that trying to do the right thing?
I agree.
But actually, Chris Martin...
trying to do the right thing?
But it's bullshit. Chris Martin, and he actually said some years ago, and I quite respect it, I said, I think we're going to have to stop touring because with the carbon footprint we leave is just massive. I think we've got to stop doing it. Then suddenly I go, oh, well, we could reduce our carbon.
Yeah, which is the way to go.
Rock tours, you know, are one-man planet-destroying missions. They really are. So now it's down. OK, they've reduced it by 59%. So 41% is still spewing out. They're just making money out of it. Well, and by the way, funny story about Coldplay. Right, they fell for that sucker crap about carbon offset. So you buy a sort of forest somewhere, and that way the trees produce all the fresh air that you're destroying in your private jet. That's what happened when Harry and Meghan borrowed Elton's private jet. Elton said, no, it's fine because I've invested in carbon offset.
We're sharing
forest.
trees.
You know, anyway, first of all, carbon offset is just bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. It doesn't work. It's just to make these virtue signalling celebrities.
It's not that it doesn't
wait a
work.
second, I'm finished. To make them feel good about themselves.
Sorry to interrupt.
It is that it doesn't work. Anyway, so they buy this carbon forest in order to offset their upcoming tour. It caught fire and the whole forest burned
that's
down.
actually really tragic.
But guess what? The tour went ahead.
But you know
I'm
something.
all for touring. Come on. I just think even though they say they're guzzling out, when we were in COVID lockdown, all I could think was it would be so nice to just get back to reality where we have these big events. I don't care. We can fix climate change in other areas. Don't stop touring.
But people want it to be so binary, don't they? They want people to say, let's all be eco, and then nobody can take a plane or nobody can take a private jet. And it just doesn't work like that. If you make a film like Leonardo DiCaprio that's going to be seen by millions of people about how you can effectively change your lifestyle to help change the planet, really isn't that kind of offsetting a private jet journey? Isn't that
Shut up! That's shit!
Because you're
Shut up! What a load of rubbish!
Because you're reaching so many people.
Well, you can't do that, Simon. That is just epic hypocrisy. It's all right for me to go around in a private jet because I'm a multi-millionaire Hollywood superstar. Yeah. But you little people,
but he's not saying that.
I'm going to make a film
but that's
to tell
what
you
hear.
How to lead your lives.
But that is what
but
you
I
hear.
Don't
do you know what I actually think it is? It's not even the private jet thing. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the wealthiest stars in the world, getting up on stage when he's accepting an Oscar and spending the time talking about how we all need to reduce our carbon footprint. Whatever to the likes of you and I, who are, you know, probably in the 1 or 2% with privilege. We are so privileged. You're the average American Brit watching who's trying to get food on the plate of their children. You're like, shut up.
And
Like
that's the other thing
do you know
about.
what I mean? Like, I just don't want to hear.
You know, and by the way, we now have a government. The Tories were bad enough. We now have a Labour government over here. And by the way, Americans, if you vote Kamala Harris in, you'll get the same deal. They smash us over the head with the net zero stick. We're going to get to carbon net zero. What is it? Who cares? Don't charge us hundreds of pounds and thousands of dollars levies on our energy
But people
bills.
do care.
No,
but people
they
do care.
don't, rubbish.
Because that's
you
why,
care. You
that's
care.
why big...
You care because you've drunk the Kool-Aid.
That's what...
Shut up, it's time for a bad ad.
No little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red.
So kiss a little longer, stay close a little longer, hold tight a little longer, longer with Big Red. Let Big Red freshness last right through it. Your fresh breath goes on and on. While you chew it, say goodbye a little longer, make it last a little longer. Give your breath long-lasting freshness with Big Red.
What was it called?
Big Red.
Big Red.
It's great,
Cinnamon.
that chewing gum.
Is it good?
Yeah.
It's really
Has it
good.
got that cover?
Yeah.
And it's wrapped in foil, and when you're a kid, you would
wrapped
like
in
go
foil,
like
that's
that with
unusual for
foil,
chewing gum.
and you'd put it on your arm, and it would give you like a red patch.
What? Say that again?
I don't know. Maybe it was an Australian thing.
You sure
would,
that was the reason for the red patch on your arm? Was it some sort of rash or something, was it?
No, I was a very clean kid.
Anyway, enough of Big Red and your rash. Let's go to a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Okay, welcome back. We're going to talk now. This is the serious bit of the show. Serious bit, yeah. It's when we attempt to be proper journalists and have a profound debate, a mass debate, actually. And what we're going to talk about is, of course, the American election. Kamala is now anointed, crowned, I would suggest, the Democrat candidate, because old senile Joe has gone back to his bunker. She's now the president for a kickoff. He's just obviously not going to do anything. She's the one who sat down with Benjamin Netanyahu and then announced the peace deal that once again Israel won't accept. But Kamala Harris, is she the most annoying person in the world?
Well, I think she's going to be marketed as that. I think the Republicans are going to go to town on her. Someone said that someone I interviewed the other day just said that she's a meme president. Yeah. And that's all she'll be.
See, a lot of people say that she won't do very well in the election, but I think she will.
I do.
I reckon she'll come in the top 2, could even come second.
I think it'll be close.
I am so pleased about this. So the last
can I just stop you? She hasn't got a chance.
The last show, we said, all of us here sat and said, you know, if Biden does the decent thing, he'll step aside. Yeah. And I think Kamala coming in now, Kamala, sorry.
It's Kamala.
Do you know, no, it's actually...
It's Kamala.
It's Kamala. No, it's like that A-O thing, Kamala.
Yeah. OK. I think Ms. Harris...
I can't stand people when you can't pronounce their bloody name.
I think VP Harris will come in and she'll give Trump a run for his money and hopefully win. And if you think that's kind of calling Joe Biden senile or him calling her lying Kamala and Sleepy Joe, he is now the old man in this race. He's a convicted felon and she's new. She's fresh. She's going to bring in that female vote. She's going to bring in that young vote. You guys have got a problem.
She is a boring little woke piece of shit. And she hasn't got a chance. She hasn't got a chance in the swing states, which are mostly Rust Belt type states, where they're very blue collar. Donald Trump is ahead. Like every American...
He's shrunk his lead in those swing states. And they've got a few months to decide what she's going to be.
I think it's going to be tighter than we think. I actually think regardless of each candidate, I think a lot of Americans just want someone other than Trump or Biden. Yes. And that might mean that she gets voted in because of that.
She could be America's first dwarf president. That would be good.
What do you
she's
mean
about
dwarf?
5'1".
Is she?
She's
hey,
tiny.
I'll say it again. As a dwarf,
tiny.
I'd rather take Sleepy. I'd rather take Sleepy, Grumpy and Lying over. And that's what your president is.
Yeah, but Americans don't care about that.
They do care about it.
They don't. They do. Well, they really cared about it in 2016, didn't they? How much did they care about it in 2016?
There are a whole load of Republicans who will not vote for Trump again because of his being a convicted felon and because of that.
That's not true.
Well,
and because of that,
that's dissolved.
Because of that sexual assault case.
That has dissolved.
That's
just you talking. That's just you talking. You're just imposing your metropolitan liberal elite values onto all of America.
Not all of America.
America isn't like that.
Not all
They're
of America.
Good people.
They are decent people. The MAGA morons in the cult are not.
You call them
they'll
morons.
give him a pass.
So if you support Donald Trump, you're a moron. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, that makes you a moron.
A MAGA moron. Not if you're a Republican who thinks that Trump did a good presidency. If you're in a cult who can't see that he is bad for democracy and bad for that country and you still worship him and you believe all the conspiracy theories,
no, listen to
you are a MAGA
as
moron.
As I said to you last time, you've got a serious case of Trump derangement syndrome and millions of Americans look up to Donald Trump. They love him. They think he'll be a powerful president. They like J.D. Vance. And I think that running partnership, the two powerful men and Donald Trump's brilliance speaking to the public. Trump is an extremely popular guy. He's a brilliant campaigner. She is a shite campaigner. She is dreadful. And she will fall off the scale. Trust me.
She'll be better than Biden, though.
Biden can't speak.
She's a breath of fresh air. And you know something? You know something? She doesn't have to be that good.
She's a liar.
She's better than Biden.
She's a liar.
And just at the moment, she's a liar. Look at Trump. Look at Trump. Trump is the biggest liar, the biggest piece of shit.
Kamala, along with all those other shadowy Democrat figures, including Obama and all that lot, have lied to the American people about the mental mental and physical state of that old fossil Jurassic Joe Biden. The guy has not been fit for that job from the moment he got elected, and the last 2 years, it's been a disgrace. And she's in that up to her neck. They lied to the American people. They said, this guy's there. He hasn't made a decision for 2 years.
I don't believe that.
Oh, really? What kind of decisions do you think he's made?
I don't believe that. I think that, like, Biden...
He's really been on his game, yeah?
I think that Biden has deteriorated. Yeah, I think that Biden has deteriorated, but I do not believe...
To the point of being a vegetable?
I do not believe... No, I don't. I think that's unfair. I don't think he's firing...
Do you think it's beneath us to discuss?
I don't think he's firing on all cylinders. But listen...
Understatement of the century.
Incontinent Trump falling asleep in court who can't remember Nancy Pelosi's name or
Wouldn't
Kamala
you fall
Harris's
asleep?
name.
Shut up.
He is a liability. He's a liability.
You mean a guy who can stand at the dispatch box and speak to a massive
and talk
crowd?
about the late great Hannibal Lecter.
Wait a second.
Sorry for interrupting.
For 92 minutes, you say that he hasn't got all of his marbles.
Burbling.
Never once lost.
Sorry.
Burbling. What?
No. Never
burbling.
once
He's talking
lost
about what should I do if a shark is attacking or my boat is drowning.
Love to say he's a terrible public speaker. He's a brilliant public speaker.
He may be a great public speaker.
Thank you very much.
But he's talking out of his dirty ass.
Huh? Sorry, you say you're falling asleep in court. Can we take it back to when Joe Biden fell asleep at COP26?
Yeah, listen, they're both old men.
In front of all of our world leaders.
They are both old men.
And didn't you think it was impressive when he survived the assassination?
Trump surviving the assassination.
Protected by all those short, fat women from the Secret Service.
Listen, I think it's terrible to try and sort of circumvent democracy by killing.
Took it like a courageous guy, though. Didn't
you know what?
He took it like a courageous guy. You've got to admit that.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was.
That will play well for him, because the one thing people have always said about Donald Trump, with some justification, is he's lived a very privileged, cosseted life.
Draft dodger.
Been wealthy from day one. Well, like so many.
Bankrupt.
Well, that's not the point. That isn't the point. He's
felon.
Well, look, that's not the point. The
incontinent.
Point, I'm trying to do you a favour here. Where's this incontinent thing come from?
Oh, because he...
Shut up! Right.
That was terrifying.
Stop telling lies. Stop telling lies. Seriously. But he's lived a very privileged life, but he's got this ability to connect with people.
Yeah.
But people say, well, he's never seen military action. He's never, he's just lived in penthouses and privileged golf courses and all that. Now that he's had a bullet through his ear, that has changed that perception.
Do you think?
No, yeah, very much so. Very much so.
I think that JD kind of
He looks like he's been in the thick of it now.
JD Vance fills that kind of void, though, as his VP, as someone that's obviously lived like a very lower middle class American life, who's had experience in the military.
By November, people will believe that they will be able to participate in the making of history. A female president of colour, and somebody who is not going to divide America as Trump does, but somebody who's going to attempt to unite America.
Honestly,
she's fresh, she's exciting, she's so full of energy.
Shut up! I've had enough.
She's young. She's. You have got Trump derangement syndrome.
We're going to look now. What a load of crap. We're going to look now at the reason Donald Trump will thrash Kamala Harris in the election. It's because of videos like this.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And she has been pretty disastrous on the southern border.
I mean,
that is 8 million people coming through that. It's a humanitarian crisis. Biden specifically put her in charge of that huge mega problem. And she has been down there once, and she had to be persuaded to go.
Yeah.
She's done nothing. She can't believe her bloody luck. I mean, this time a couple of weeks ago, she was, widely regarded, quite rightly, as the worst first American vice president in history, someone that people have forgotten her name, she did so little. Suddenly, she's being hailed as the greatest presidential candidate known to man.
But because
she can't believe it.
But it doesn't matter.
Where was she when he made his speech to the nation the other day, when his sort of farewell speech from the Oval Office, when he said, "I promise to level with you and always tell you the truth." He didn't tell us the truth about being a sort of mentally vegetative, did he?
Well, that was clear as day. I mean, that...
The late, great Hannibal Lecter, Kamala Harris or Nancy Pelosi, you were banging the drum for a man who is just as mentally incompetent as Joe Biden.
Who, Trump?
Yeah. You don't see it, but to anybody standing outside...
No, you do, though, do you? You do. You're with him in the quiet moments.
Anybody outstanding...
You've got access to
anybody standing outside...
Stop saying what you don't know.
To anybody standing outside...
You have no idea.
To anybody
You're just trailing out bloody Guardian, New York Times, liberal... Democrat
You're
crap.
scared. You guys are scared about Kamala.
I am.
Come November.
I am.
You don't trust Trump not to fire off his big mouth and say something else bad. They can remold her. They can rebuild her. She's going to be like the Bionic Woman. Yeah. She's going to come out of the gate and she's going to wipe the floor with Rapey Donald.
I'm not worried about her getting in. I mean, I think that I'm actually someone that thinks that it is time for new leadership. What I am saying is that Kevin had a point.
About it.
The border is atrocious.
Yep.
They ripped out 2 policies from the Trump administration that were working, probably because they were working with the Trump name attached to it. That is ridiculous. They got rid of Remain in Mexico and Title 42 that were actually helping to keep more migrants off the border, which, by the way, yes, is a humanitarian disaster. But people are dying. Women are giving birth there. It is horrific.
Kids are dying.
And Border Patrol agents are not given the help that they should. They sit there on the border, and she went there once. She went to El Paso in July 2021. And this
has been a crisis that has just been those 4 years in the making.
Because he opened the border.
That is 10 years in the making.
But the Trump administration
should have built the wall.
No,
finished the wall.
Regardless of that,
and Mexico's going to pay for it.
The numbers are
what's wrong with that? Who cares?
Astronomical in those 4 years. That is a fact. That is just a fact. And the Trump administration, say what you want about Trump, he actually instated 2 policies that actually worked.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying that the Biden administration has got everything right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
it's got nothing right.
What I'm saying is that Donald Trump is not fit to be president because of the way that he has undermined democracy, because of the way he has made that nation divided.
Yeah.
And actually, Kamala coming in as a breath of fresh air, I can forgive her some of the things that they've got wrong in that administration. What the world cannot afford is another Trump presidency.
Well, you better get used to it because what's going to happen. Apparently, Joe Biden's working on another speech listing all of his achievements while he's been president. It's expected to last 30 seconds. I mean, what has he achieved? Sod all.
I don't know.
Sod all.
The economy.
There's another thing about Biden.
The economy.
Biden is
the drop in.
He's a peculiarly unlikable man. Really unlikable guy. There doesn't seem to be any humanity about him whatsoever.
Oh, no,
He's got this sort of Botox face covered in orange fake tan. And he's always got an ice cream stuffed down his mouth.
That is Trump.
No. But have you seen? Did you see Biden the other night?
Yeah, that was weird. But
he looked like Katie Price.
Trump looks like a poo with a baseball cap on.
Yeah.
He really does. He's that brown and sweaty. He's terrible. He looks absolutely terrible. And you know what? He's the oldest man in the room now, and they're going to kick him for it. It's going to be like elder abuse.
Well,
all right.
And I am here for it.
It's Kamala Harris that will lose. Donald Trump will win. Time for a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. It is time to dip into our mailbag again and go through some of the messages you've been kind enough to send us. And ladies first, I love this joke. Off you go, Simon.
That's an insult to ladies.
I just want to say hi to Mel, who is ingesting all this upstairs. Right, we ready?
Yeah.
So you can't use that now. Can't use that now.
This is going to be a nice one about you, isn't it? Go on.
I totally agree with Simon.
Yeah, oh gee, what a surprise.
What?
Trump incites and created this violent atmosphere and aggressive rhetoric 3 years ago, had his fans try to take over the Capitol, and if that's not crazy, then I don't know what is. And that's from Glescaflair.
Glescaflair, you're wrong. Maddie.
All right, well, this one is get rid of everybody but Simon, and I might try this terrible site again. Who wants to listen to a bunch of biased people yelling over each other?
Who is that? Who is that?
That was from Armand Hastings.
Well, Armand Hastings, go yourself.
Oh.
Next up.
I really must mind my language on this show. Kim PD4Y says, Simon sounds as ignorant as that shirt looks.
By the way, he's branding this week.
Yeah, I'm being sponsored.
Not after the Olympics.
That's how many people actually take the time to write about you.
Yeah.
And you know what? They just can't stand another side of their argument.
And
it's just bizarre.
And yet you're back every week.
Yep, here I am.
Well, this person says, Jan says the media and people like Simon who believe the lies the lefty globalist-owned media sprout continually. Nasty stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. The trouble with you is you're drunk on the Kool-Aid. That's not water you've got, it's Kool-Aid. You've drunk too much of it. All this liberal Guardian, New York Times, Kamala Harris bullshit. You swallowed it hook, line and sinker. Big mistake.
I always love taking criticism from a woman who's watching the show on Google with the tech giants and the mainstream media. I mean, these people are deranged.
Well, hang on a second. That's our audience. Leave them alone.
Yeah,
well done,
true.
Jan. Nice.
That's our one.
Very good point. Don't listen to that.
YouTube with our new 1 million
All right, simple Simon. Come on, village idiot. What have you got?
Molly Hunt says, you call Simon mad while you behave as if you are totally deranged. This could be an interesting programme if it was carried out by adults. Thank you, Molly Hunt.
Well,
you can't deny
maybe
it.
I'll have to suck that one up. Go on, Maddie, you got one?
I don't know why you bother talking to Simon. He's the king of woke, and I suspect he's a member of the Sussex squad.
Well, he is, isn't he? The king of the woke. Who's that one from?
That was from Beverly Brownsy.
Beverly Brown, bang on. Well done. What have you got now, Simon?
I've got Gorilla Dog Mother Turtle Bum 769.
Hang on. That again.
Gorilla Dog Mother Turtle Bum 769.
What?
Yeah. Listen, they've got something important to say, which I'm going to listen to. Just says Simple Simon. Thank you, Gorilla Dog Mother Turtle Bum 769. I'm sure everybody takes what you've got to say.
Extremely simple,
yeah,
Simon.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Do you ever spend any of your time like in stocks with the local villagers throwing vegetables at you?
Only in your wet dreams.
That has made me feel physically ill.
Yeah. I don't think I'd find that exciting. I find it funny, but not titillating. What you got, Maddie?
Well, this one is actually a strange vibe for you, Simon. Someone said, thank goodness for Simon and his voice of reason. We watch this show faithfully because of Simon's intelligence, good humour and ability to dampen the sensationalism.
You watch it for that reason?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, I'll take all comers. It is quite interesting. You do get, kind of, in my view, a disproportionate amount of support. I'm obviously not being shitty enough to you, so I'll have to up my game next week.
Kevin says, Edith Gin, you can't win an argument by shouting the loudest and calling people idiots. Simon is lovely. Please treat him more kindly, even if we don't agree with him.
Time now for a musical interlude. Jesus. I mean, was that a piss take of you know, the Son of God?
Listen, I think that Jesus probably is their friend because he loves everybody, but he'd just like them to stop now.
Yeah. Well, Jesus is their friend, but when he saw that lot, he sort of drew the line.
Said,
you know,
"Not for
hang on
you."
a second, I'm not going that far. Well, that's about it for another brilliant show. Thank you very much, I think, to Simple Simon London. He'll be back next week. Worst luck, Maddie, Hale, fantastic. Well, actually, I got you on board so we could do some more Australian adverts.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Samara Gill is away this week. But we've got American adverts, so there wasn't any point in having you at all.
Oh, well, I'll go then.
No, seriously, you've been great. Thank you very much to Maddie, Hale. Now, that's it. As I say, we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Right here on What Just Happened. Be there. What just happened?